going to ask Mary Abernathy if she'll come up and give us some opening remarks, please.
Mary Abernathy, and I'm the Director of Short-Term Rental in Gilmer County. I want to share a little bit with you, Commissioners, of background, and then I'm just going to give kind of an overview of what we're doing today. I want to start by giving a little bit of history on the Short-Term Rental Initiative and talk a little bit, address the third-party vendor we have assisting with the county GovOS. I don't think people understand what the application actually does, so I thought I'd just give a brief overview of how it works. It contains two unique components, a business license and taxes, a business licensing and taxing element, and then a short-term rental piece that does the locating, compliance, complaints, records violations, and then provides reporting for us. And I do want to I want to go on record to say that contrary to prior reports, GovOS is exactly what we need as the size county we are right now to manage our short-term rental initiative. It's a good program, it's solid, and it will do what we want it to do, plus other things. So once fully implemented, it is going to provide the structured framework that we need in the county to run the short-term rental initiative. The company was purchased in August by a conglomerate and is now known as NEMO. We still refer to it here in the county as GovOS. But basically, it provides the framework, and our goal in short-term rentals is to provide the ordinance consistency, to provide guidance through the ordinance with consistency, impartiality, equality, and fairness to all stakeholders. And our stakeholders are five different groups. Citizens who are neighbors to short-term rentals, short-term rental hosts, who are the property owners. They are the ones who are required to have licenses now. Short-term rental property management companies, the guests who rent, and also the county that governs the short-term rentals. And as with any new startup business, we have had challenges through the year, but during the initial phases of the implementation, which began in February 2025 and continues till now and through now, the following sections of the program have been substantially or totally implemented. The first piece to be totally implemented was the hotel motel tax remittance section. Sandy Holden and Rhonda Dockery have worked extensively on getting that up and running, and it is totally operational. Well, a few minor tweaks here and there, very minor, and all hotel motel taxes are now remitted online. There are no more manual checks or paper documents accepted for the hotel motel remittance taxes. There has been a bit of resistance from short-term rental hosts about this requirement because in the past they've been conditioned to not really have to do any reporting, but in order for our system to balance, the short-term rental hosts now must report their income monthly and make it balance out. So it's a very good thing for us because we're no longer just, it's not a shot in the dark where all this big huge one check from Airbnb goes. We have a list of from the property owners as to what part of it is theirs. So that piece is completed for the most part. Where we are on short-term host licensing and renewal is that to this point in 2025, we have active licensed units in the county, 1,694 host licenses. They're all going to be coming up for renewal by 12/31/25. And to date, approximately 2,500 have been identified. Not all of them have been vetted, but they're in the process of determining what type of activity is happening in those units. Anyway, the new license and renewal application pieces are online and basically fully functional. We have a few little things we need to tweak, and the renewal processes will be coming online, and all of those 1,694 licenses will be notified in the next couple of weeks that they have to renew before the end of the year. New host license applications are 100% online and ongoing. We have daily requests. 2 or 3 requests every day come in. I need to get a new short-term rental host license. The next piece that we've implemented over the last several months has been the short-term rental board. It's been established and is ready to begin adjudication processes, and we're going to begin issuing fines and warnings, and if needed, going up to issuing citations on January 1st, 2026. This past year, we've been very lenient with the property owners who did not get licenses filed, many for different reasons, but basically, we have not issued violations and citations or any type of detrimental effect to the property owners while everybody's getting licensed. Our goal this year has been to get all of the properties we possibly can with a valid license. Another piece that we've done is fully operational, available to all citizens of Gilmer County 24/7, is a complaint hotline where any type of issues pertaining to short-term rentals in the neighborhood can be reported. GovOS vets them. They check out the owners, check out the property, and send me an email. And if needed, they call the property owners or whoever the emergency contacts are to get someone on site as soon as possible to deal with the issues that might be happening. Those are the things we've done just in the last 3 months and 2 weeks. The proposed changes to the amendment have come through evaluation of what's going on, assessment of how things need to run smoothly, and experience during the implementation of the GovOS application. Sections of the ordinance that needed clarification or addition were basically to allow for consistent, fair, and safe implementation of the ordinance. So I'm just going to go briefly through the summary of changes. It'll take about 2 or 3 minutes. But most changes in this ordinance have to do with changing the words planning and zoning department and planning and zoning director to short-term rental department and short-term rental director. So most of the changes in this ordinance are that change. Then there were 17 insertions where we clarified. We clarified for definitional purposes. We expanded the definition of short-term rentals so that people will totally understand what they are in Gilmer County, because they are unique to Gilmer County. We don't have a specific zoning for short-term rentals, so we expanded the definition so people will understand that they are considered a business in a residential area, but they are not businesses from the perspective of receiving a business license. That's why we would host license. We implemented the short-term rental board. It has 5 members. We expanded the definition and the terms of the members. Also, we input into this version of the amendment required safety inspection by an inspector once every 3 years. We will have a code enforcement person who will be inspecting the properties based on what's in the ordinance, but we also have, in this version of the ordinance, a safety inspection. Also, we have added in this version, for the same reason, and pretty much everything that we added or amended in this version of the ordinance deals with safety. We added that These hot tubs will be inspected, decks will be inspected, and just the standards of code that will be used to inspect those. We also added for assistance to homeowners association and property management associations, the requirement, we required that to be able to be qualified and get a renewal license. The current host license has to be in compliance with all county rules, regulations, not late on their taxes, not having any issues going on in other departments and that type of thing. So we have begun a collaboration with the tax assessor's office and the planning and zoning department to determine if properties have outstanding issues that need to be addressed before a renewal can be issued, a new license can be issued. But one of the things that we have added to the ordinance to assist with homeowners associations and property management associations to kind of give them a little bit of credibility in what they attempt to do is that we will listen to them also when it comes to renewals as to whether there are any outstanding fees or liens or anything that they have against the short-term property owners. So they will have more of a voice than they have had in the past in the short-term rental property ordinance. Then, pertaining to good neighbor letters, boy, has this been a sticking point. We're requiring that good neighbor letters, the addresses, that part of the application now will be that the people who are neighbors to short-term rentals, we are requiring the owners submit the addresses to whom they sent the good neighbor letters. Because the number one complaint I've had in 3 months, in 2 weeks, is I didn't get a good neighbor letter. I don't know who to contact should something be happening over there next door. So this way, this will allow us to be able to check who's been notified. And if an owner makes a complaint, I didn't get a short-term rental letter, a notification letter, then we will know whether one was sent to them or not. We do have we maintain the 250-foot rule that was in the original ordinance, and this is why, because basically the way the ordinance reads, if you share a property line, you send that person a good neighbor notification letter. The 250 feet is kind of to cover people across the street and down the road a little way, but basically all neighbors who are adjacent to the properties should be getting good neighbor notifications. So we just tightened that up a little bit by making them, by requiring in this iteration of the ordinance that we know who they've been sent to. It's helpful. Also, one thing I want to say about the short-term rental board, they met and they put together, based on the ordinance as it exists now, they did come up with a fine structure for violations should citations need to be issued. The major violation which will happen is actually covered in the ordinance, and that is a violation of not renewing or paying your license fee on time, so that come January 1, you are operating with a license in Gilmer County, not without one. And then several items were added to the general provisions, and those items are items 20 through 24, an element dealing with road maintenance where the roads are not county maintained and they're owned by private property owners, and short-term rentals use them but don't participate in maintaining them. It gives the owners of the private roads basically clout to say, look, you need to chip in for some gravel here. That, however, is left at them. That's not going to be necessarily regulated by us. It's just saying this, it is there and it needs to be accomplished. Abandonment of stray animals. People ask me why I put that one in. I put it in because I got a call one day from a lady who says, you know, you will not believe what I just saw. I just saw some short-term rental people open the cat carrier and let the cat out before they left the site. Well, we already have enough stray animals in Gilmer County to take care of. We don't need short-term rental people coming up here and leaving theirs. So we were able to, I called the property owner, and he contacted the renters, and that had a good outcome because that was a One person didn't want the cat in the family, the other one did. Well, the one who wanted it drove back 4.5 hours from Alabama to pick it up. Now, that doesn't preclude people taking it down the road and letting it out, but at least they won't be letting it out in Gilmer County. So that's why that's in there. And hot tub safety, of course, I mentioned earlier. Deck and porch safety, I mentioned earlier. And then outdoor sports facilities. We have some real challenges in Gilmer County with short-term rental properties that have actually built pickleball courts, basketball courts, tennis courts, sports facilities like that in their backyard. Now, I don't know about y'all, but there's nothing more irritating to me than listening to a basketball fan dribble for hours on end and shoot baskets in their yard next door. So, since people come up here for peace and quiet, and pickleball is a hugely noisy sport. So, it's just enough to make people crazy, actually. But that's just a brief overview of what the amendments cover, and feel free to ask any questions or feedback that you'd like to have.
I'm good, but we'll see if anybody else has questions.
I have a question about the pickleball and the basketball. Is that a certain time that they can't play or do?
No, we just prohibited them entirely from being built on short-term rental property in the ordinance. It's a huge, it has potential to be a huge issue. And in some neighborhoods already is a huge issue. So. Other questions or feedback?
Well, I think there's somebody who wants to make some comments, so we'll see. Thank you, Nick.
Just a question, what's the complaint hotline? You said you got it, what's the number?
You know what? I don't have it with me, but it can be, I don't have it with me, but it's posted on the short-term rental website at www.gilmercounty-ga.gov. Departments, short-term rental, it's on the sidebar.
Hey, what was the question?
What is the 24/7 complaint hotline and telephone number?
And what is the fine schedule? Is that published?
Sir, if you want to ask the questions, you need to come to the podium.
Yeah. The commissioners are reviewing it.
Okay.
The fine schedule. He asked what the fine schedule was.
Okay, anybody else that would like to comment?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, we just have to get our technology working over there.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's pretty good. Can you just expand that to a bit where it's bigger? What is your name? Laura Mars. M-A-R-S. No, you're gonna have to pause it. Go back to the beginning.
Yeah, go back.
Jim?
Yeah.
Go back to the beginning. Sorry, guys.
Technically challenged here.
Yeah, it's okay. Just pause it there for now.
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, Chairman Paris and Commissioners Ferguson and Marshall. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Laura Marks, and I own and operate a short-term rental in High River, the High River subdivision. High River is a private, gated, R2 residential community. We have about 400 lots, and right now there's about 100, give or take, homes and ones that are under construction. I've brought this video today because I want to show you this promotional video of a property that's currently being operated as a short-term rental in our R2 community. Go ahead and give it a start. This was a promotional video that they did for the resort. Yeah, can you do full screen on the video on the bottom?
How do you have to show me how to do it, Laura?
On the right-hand side at the bottom. Mark, can you help?
Can I ask, is this a property owner or the development?
No, No, this is a property owner that owns 3 lots
Okay.
in the community,
Okay.
and we'll see what they built. This was a promotional video done prior to building it, but now it's operating.
Yes, sir. There we go, we're good.
Okay, you got it? Okay. All right, go ahead, play, and then just go to that title slide of the, sorry, I thought it'd be closer to the computer. Right there, stop there. Okay, I just want to call out the commission.
Come on, Mark. Just click on the screen.
There you go, okay. I just want to call out the first thing on this title slide. This is a,
That's automatic play.
I apologize.
Technology. we love.
So that, so this place is being marketed as a resort, okay? And if you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner there, the resort features 30 bedrooms, 60 beds, 20 bathrooms, and below that it says 30 games, okay? Discover the best resort amenities for your LJ Georgia getaway. Continue.
Try.
Sorry. There's just one other thing that I want to call out, so I want you to see. Just hit play, yeah.
You were there.
Just hit the screen,
Yeah.
yeah. That's pause.
Can you send us this link after this meeting?
Of course I can, yeah. And Mary has it too, I believe. That's Mary's been provided. Okay, just hit
To play it.
the mouse on the screen.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
It's hard to see, it's playing.
I know,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so you can see like the scope of this place. So there's 3 lots, there's a main house on each lot, and I just want to call your attention to the additional structure on each of the main houses. There's an additional structure off to the side, there's a arcade, there's basketball, pickleball courts. Each one, the additional structures were made for additional bedrooms, additional rental units. We're just going to continue for just one more minute, just to kind of get an idea of the scope of this place. There's, keep going. Plan your next perfect family vacation. Doesn't it look like a wonderful place? There's even an RV, a place to park your RV with electric and sewer. Movie theater, arcade, outdoor kitchen, pool,
Shared pool.
shared pool, playground. Okay, you can stop it. You can stop it there.
Okay.
I think that they've seen enough, of at least what I wanted to show them, and we will provide the link to you, of course. So how did this happen? I mean, this is a single-family R2 community. We don't know. We've questioned the zoning office since the pool and the pickleball courts were going in. Then we started sounding the alarms to the zoning office about the unfinished garages that were being constructed, which are clearly intended to be additional rental units, which have now been finished. Obviously, as seen in the video, this Darrigan's intention was to make additional rental units out of garages, and or additional units to each of the main houses to create additional rental units. So what was the zoning office's answer? Jim Smith, he said, get a lawyer to us, told us to get a lawyer. So we did. The question remains that, though, why do we need a lawyer to fight against something that is so obviously outside of what an R2 should be? I don't get that. So I have a 4-bedroom, 3.5-bath home in High River that I use as a short-term rental. Since I've started it, I have only allowed 10 people max in my house. I would never allow more than that. That's 2 per bedroom and then 2 on a pull-out sofa. All right, that's a 3,600 square foot house, so it's big enough to accommodate 10 people. I don't want more than that. We want the commission to understand how important part of this, I love the short-term rental ordinance. I think it's a great idea, as long as it's going to be enforced. I think that, you know, at one point I thought, well, maybe it's just, you know, another fee. Maybe they just want the license fee for additional revenue. But if it's actually something that's going to be enforced, that's going to help everybody. We want the commission to understand that occupancy is very, very important here to add to this ordinance. You know, it's just like if you go into a restaurant, you'll see there, if you see their license, it says 150 people maximum occupancy in the restaurant. That's for safety. And so if we're needing to comply with the fire ordinances and all the things and get the fire extinguishers and have our smoke alarms inspected and everything else, there needs to be some guideline on occupancy. I mean, you can't have 60 people renting a place and then if the place, you know, is on fire or whatever, I mean, there's a safety concern thing. This derogant has knowingly and intentionally circumvented our zoning laws, our covenants, and even now, I think the the new STR ordinance. I know it's not being enforced yet, but if something is not done and this ordinance is not enforced, there are other owners that will find a way to do the same thing. As Mary stated, there's already other pickleball courts. There's already, you know, that are going up, and I don't know if they're getting permitted for that. I don't know how they're doing it. We have van loads of people coming through our neighborhood sometimes because of this place. There's sometimes 20 cars over there. And Darrigan's listing on Vacasa, which is one of the listing sites, I don't know if you guys are familiar. He lists his property on Vacasa. I do have it up here, but you know, we've been challenged with the technology. But the rental site, the rental listing shows that he's sharing the pool, sharing the amenities between the 3 properties. And like the pool and the pickleball courts and the basketball courts. Rich, don't worry about it. I mean, I can provide that too. Yeah. So the question then becomes, is this commercial or residential? You really can't have it both ways. You can't have recreational facilities like this in an R2 single-family residence neighborhood. So potentially defining what an STR is a single-family residence, or I don't know what you guys can come up with, but we believe that there's a way that this needs to be done where it's clearly defined what that looks like. The consequences of this resort are already starting to be felt. It could potentially affect our property values, and I'm sure that you guys all are homeowners or investors and things. That's the last thing you want, is your property to go down in value, or people to not want to be in your neighborhood because of this place. We've got increased traffic, that's already happening. The wear and tear on infrastructure, our roads, these are all things that we have to pay for. Safety concerns, some of these people get hurt. I don't know what happens if that happens. And then the noise and the garbage. I mean, after a weekend of partying, obviously a place like this encourages the partiers from Atlanta to come, and I mean, loads of garbage at the end of the weekend, just out front. So, in closing here, I just want you to be advised, we do have, as shareholders of the High River community, we did take Jim Smith's advice, and we do have an attorney on retainer, and we are prepared to take legal action if it's necessary. We are hoping, though, that we can resolve this some other way. This actually should not be our problem. I don't know how this place came to be, but I'm asking and requesting somebody to evaluate what happened here. High River, the people of High River, which we have a large group, everybody stand up, wave. We would like to see Darrigan's STR license pulled. These now finished garages those should not be allowed as rentals. And the recreation facility should not be used by multiple rentals. I don't even know why they're there, but they shouldn't be used by multiple rentals. And certainly, based on the size of this project, this guy is clearly a wealthy guy. So a fine is not going to do it. A fine will not fix this. He will keep paying fines. So that's it. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Ma'am, could I get your contact information? Could I get your contact information
Of
so
course.
that we can get back with you?
Yep, my phone number is 727-686-1594.
And your name again?
Laura, Laura, Marks, Marx. And my email is my name at outlook.com.
And you're going to email us?
I will. I'll have to get your contact information.
Okay.
Or is it it's on the board website?
Very every week.
It's in the newspaper, but it's on our website.
It's on the website, I
Yes.
saw it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else?
All right, my name is Richard Hart, H-A-R-T. I'm a resident full-time at High River. And I just want to comment on a few things about the situation. First of all, I moved out of the city up here to LJ for the quiet, the peace and quiet, the relaxation, and having a mountain-type environment. This is not conducive to a mountain town living environment. This is Party City. This is the people coming out of the city to come up here and raise hell on weekends and holidays. Okay. Second of all, I want to address the noise issue. Okay, I know there's a 250-foot good neighbor policy, but trust me, the noise from the pickleball courts and the screaming and yelling at the swimming pool carries much further in the mountains than 250 feet. Did Melinda make it here tonight? Melinda is behind the property. All right, it's more than 250 feet. She's on the other side of the river there, okay? And she's frustrated that she can sit on her back porch at night and she has to listen to the bing bong, bing bong, bing bong of the pickleball court. And it's distracted. It's not restful, okay? The other thing I want to address to you is the owner of this property has been very deceitful, all right? He originally built 3 single-family homes on the property, no problem. Then he came in and permitted for 3 unfinished garages, and I have photos of those permits. They're specifically unfinished garages. However, when they did that, he fully intended to finish them. He intended already, by that video that was created long before they were built, to finish those garages. But he knew it wouldn't be approved, so he submitted for unfinished garages. With all the plumbing coming up through the slab, through the bathrooms and the kitchen, the bathrooms, okay? And as soon as the builder, which was Brownhaven, because Brownhaven knew it was against the regs to finish it, they would not finish it. So they did it as an unfinished garage, and then he hired another contractor to come in afterwards and to finish it as living space. He added heat and air. He finished off the upstairs, okay, and that is being used as part of the living area. There's 3 structures built right next door to the primary structure on each of those 3 lots, okay? He just skirted around the rules deliberately, okay? And now all 6 of those buildings are being used as living space, okay? We repeatedly went down to the building department, we complained about it, to no avail, okay? That's it. I have pictures, I'm happy to show you the pictures of the slabs, all the plumbing pipes coming up. I was told when I went down there, well, that's not illegal, he can do that. Well, he already intended on doing that. He intended on doing that before he even started it. Do you have any questions of me?
Not at this point, but we'll obviously be checking into this.
Okay. You want my phone number?
That would be nice.
770-827-2200.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Jim Cowan. I live in High River as well. I happen to be a pickleball player. I play probably 3 or 4 times a week. Love to play. It's a good game. Not in our neighborhood. I live about 3 or 4 doors down from this resort, and it's very loud. Can't sit outside because all you hear is doink, 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 and people screaming. Would you want to live next to that? I don't think so. Not only that, but he's always done whatever was good for him. He doesn't care. He has a lot of money, and he thinks he can buy his way through things, and it's not right. What he has done is wrong, and it needs to be taken care of immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just a quick word, Laura Marks again. The 16-year-old, that is so sweet. It's absolutely, kids should be able to play and do all that stuff. I certainly am not saying that we shouldn't have pickleball or swimming pools or anything like that. I think it's 2 different issues here, and maybe because of his youth, he doesn't quite get that. You're talking about a high-end community with the extra noise. We don't want it. I mean, if that was the case, then maybe we have a community pool or a community pickleball court where it's away from the houses, so you're not getting the noise and the disturbance. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Are there any restrictions in High River for short-term rentals?
Yes. Yes. Laura,
Yeah.
take that up and read that to them
Yeah.
about the privacy.
Yes.
You won't mind? Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions, and none of them are being followed.
Do you have a property owners association to enforce that?
Well, yes and no. We are one of the Holt organization developments, and it's still under development or developer control. So there's recently been the first board assigned, and so we're kind of in limbo with that. I don't know how the enforcement's going to go with that. Up to this point, has not been enforced.
And there are no restrictions on building tennis courts or pickleball courts or pools in the lots?
So the ones that will have the full, I do believe that there are, I think that, John, there are restrictions on the,
It's not mentioned about basketball courts. It's in the zoning too long. They will not have a pickleball court or basketball court, but it was approved anyway.
yeah. The R2, yeah.
Has,
So in our covenants, it says, each lot should be used for residential purposes only, and no trade or business of any kind may be conducted in or from a lot or any portion of the community, except that the owner or occupant residing in a dwelling on a lot may conduct ancillary business activities within the dwelling, so long as the existence or operation of the business activity is not apparent or detectable by sight, sound, or smell from outside the dwelling. The business activity does not involve visitation or deliveries, doesn't involve use of the common property. The business activity is legal and conforms to all zoning requirements for the community. The business activity doesn't increase any insurance premium paid by the association, and that the business activity is consistent with the residential character of the community and does not constitute a nuisance or hazardous or offensive use. So, I mean,
One thing that I would point out, and when I'm saying this, I'm not in any way denying anything on our part. There's 2 totally separate issues here, or 2 directions to the same issue.
of course.
For many years, I was the president of our homeowners association, our governing documents say short-term rentals are not allowed, period. We did have one person who tried to claim that he wasn't renting it was his friends and buddies that were staying there, and he had some really strange friends and buddies. Well, and we finally tracked him down and caught him, and we did that by having one of our folks make a reservation there. And in the receipt for the reservation, he had a little note, if anybody asks, just say you're a friend of mine. The point of all this is, we had to enforce that. I understand what you're saying about you're still under the developer there, but the developer still has an obligation to go by those rules. He wrote them
100%.
after all.
No, 100%. I agree.
So you have a complaint, at least you appear to, I haven't looked into this at all, but you appear to have a complaint against the county, but you've got a pretty serious complaint against
Yes, sir.
the homeowners association too.
Yes, sir.
So my only thing there is I would encourage you, I'm not saying don't look to the county, but I'm saying don't look only to the county. You need to
Oh, no.
also.
No, we're fully aware. I mean, we're going into this eyes wide open. I hate that it's come to this. It's unfortunate because now that this is built, now what is he gonna just ask for forgiveness? No, sorry, I built it all, now I'm gonna use it. And so we're stuck with this forever unless somebody does something about it. And it is two separate issues though.
Yeah, it is, and we'll be looking into it from our side, but we can't look into it necessarily from your side, but that doesn't mean y'all shouldn't.
Certainly. John, here's a full-time resident.
I came up here from Don't Shoot Me, Florida, and I just want to say a few things. Our neighborhood in the last 2 years has produced over $50 million with revenue and homes, not to mention $221,000 in tax revenue. When we bought this, it was bought as a gated community. You know what a gated community means. All of you know what it means. It doesn't mean that buses can be coming in with people on it. It doesn't mean that you can go do what you want, use our private property. And it's to the point of, it's not right. I have told them that I'm part of this group, and there's 2 guns going off. One's pointing at 2 different people. And I'm up here to ask you guys to restrict the short-term rental. I know you can't do anything about it, but you can do that, because it's already built. There's no reason for a commercial facility of that size to be in any neighborhood, especially mine. These are all 3.5 acre lots. They're selling anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000. Average home price is $500,000. Why would I want to run that? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have about 10 more minutes before our regular meeting starts. If anybody else would like to make a comment.
I guess you know where I'm from.
I grew up in Florida.
And I'm originally born and raised in Florida, and that's exactly what I want to bring up. My name's Pete Fatuli. I was one of the first people living in High River full-time. I've been there for 4 years. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I want to make a comment on the young gentleman saying about the playing basketball and all that. Well, I was born and raised in Miami. Miami was a small little town. And Florida was pretty much nothing there. Everybody's, and I hunted and all that, played ball and all that. As people moved in, the state grew. And of course, we all know where Florida is now. That's why we're all up here. And why we're up here is because of the growth. And they didn't control it as well as they should have. These neighborhoods, anybody can do anything they want. We're in a gated community.
This may not help anything, but if you would, let's try putting your phone in your back pocket.
Okay. I can do that.
I'm thinking that might be where feedback
We'll give it a shot. I'm all for it. But anyway, so as Florida was growing, I kept moving up what I call the boot because of the growth and all the other stuff that everybody's complained about in Florida over the years. I moved up here because it was a small town. I didn't come up here to change this town. I moved up here to become part of this town. And that's where Florida screwed up. Everybody came down, that's not the way we did it in New York, or wherever they came from. So that's the attitude that I've had. I don't know what's going on. Maybe on my hat. Maybe I'll turn it off.
It is on.
What?
There's your desk.
All right, let's give it a shot. Okay. So, understanding what the young gentleman back there said, you know, like I said, I grew up hunting, playing all the games and all that, but we, as a group here, bought into this neighborhood as a gated community, you know, to live the good life. I don't know how many years I got left, but I want to enjoy it. And of course, this, I call it Disney World, grew and just took over our neighborhood. Of course, everybody started complaining about it. Like I said, I didn't move up here to change this community. I moved up here to become part of the community. And so I'm not against pickleball. I'm not against playing games and hunting and all that. And of course, when I first moved in, the locals just thought that was still their property to hunt. Of course, I had to deal with that myself. And it was pretty rough, you know, because my life actually got threatened. I was trying to guard that whole, you know, subdivision by myself at the beginning, you know. Now I've got backup, you know. But it was rough the first 2 years because that's the way it was, you know. They didn't want to change, and I understood where they were coming from because this was their community. And we were coming in and taking over, and I could relate because that's what happened down in Florida. But this is a gated community. It's not supposed to have a Disney World in the middle of it. We bought that because of that reason. And, you know, I understand if they want to buy a piece of property that has no restrictions, they can do whatever they want. They can have an engine hanging out of the tree. I really don't care. And there's no restrictions against that. But we're in a gated community. And by rights, you know, that needs to go. And you guys were asking for your help. You know, we don't want to spend money, you know, for attorneys and all this. I think it can be controlled on your end. I'm asking that you do that. Thanks.
We've got about 7 minutes before the regular meeting starts, so I'm going to suggest that we exit this and take about a 7-minute break and start ready.
Motion.
Good.
I'm Larry Ferris, and y'all know me. And I'm just back into High River, I had a piece of land before that. My problem, all this to y'all is I like all the people that's moved in there, they're good people, they don't bother. But these STR people, I was watching a football game with friends the other day, they come walking through my yard arguing that, oh, we're ripping the house up here, we got a right to be here. I asked them if they could read, they come through no trespassing signs, and then she told me to take a deep breath. If she'd been a man, they would have been a breath taker. And that's the problem I got, the short terms. They come up here, they have no respect for nobody's property except what they want to do. And I just get tired of that. And what they're talking about, I'm sure this is gonna get worse with that in there. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to take a quick break now.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?